Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pregame podcast for Survivor Durant's 9th game, Battle of the Best. The day is finally here. We've been talking about it for years, and I am here with the legend himself, the founder of Survivor BC, Jireh and
How's it going, everyone? So glad to be here.
We are going to be doing the traditional pregame podcast draft, where we will be picking 3 players who we think could take it all home. After that, we're going to have a closing interview where Jireh will interview me on my retirement, and maybe a couple of very special interviews from some very special players. So, first thing first, Jireh, what do you think of this season? You are a master at hosting. You are pro. You've done this 8 times yourself. You have recorded all of your seasons, edited them all. You know how to capture a wonderful story, and I'm so thankful that you're doing that for us. And I know that you've studied Survivor Durant. What is your initial thought going into this game?
Oh, Cheston, you're too kind. I'm so excited for this season. The build-up of 8 seasons prior up to this epic showdown. I can't wait to see how, personalities clash, how friendships could probably or possibly be broken or, maybe strengthened. I think it's going to be an epic showdown. I feel like this is just the climax of this series, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see how the season plays out.
Me either. And knowing everything beforehand, I can usually get a good guess of what's going to happen. And I've racked my brain for a long time trying to make a guess of what's going to happen. And truly, I can say I have no clue. I have no clue what is about to happen.
Yeah, I know. Same with me. When you were telling me, what you were planning for this season, the theme and the twist, I was excited. I was ecstatic. I think this is something that can really raise the bar in terms of live reality games for fan-made Survivor games.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Here at Survivor Durant, I've always been very prideful about breaking the cycle of a Survivor game or just copying something that's already been emulated. I've always strived of originality, so that means a lot. And there's going to be a lot going on. Hopefully there won't be too much going on. That's what I really, really worried about. It's what's kept me awake at night for so long. But I want it to be so complicated that players old and new alike will be at an even playing field, but not overly complicated, that we dilute the essentials of what makes Survivor, the social element. And I believe that if people stick true to that it's a social game, that those players will do the best. And speaking of the best, do you have any predictions on who you think could win it all?
Right off the bat, Cheston, well, I don't know. I do have a lot of predictions. Looking at each of the players that we have, I really like to say,
Oh, sure.
Oh yeah, 16 players. That's epic. That's like the classical Survivor. Survivor started with 16 players, and to have Survivor Durant, their final season, end with 16 players, that special number. I think makes this season even better, even more special. I have a lot of contestants that I'm really high on.
Okay.
Succeed. Should I say them now?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, well, we have our 2 pros, Taylor St. Louis and Kurt Carlson. They're both players who have competed on numerous LRGs, live reality games, fan-made Survivors all over North America. And I've seen them in my own series, Survivor BC, and they are exceptional. They know exactly what to do in terms of just knowing how to read the room, knowing how to excel strategically, socially, even physically in challenges. And that's exactly what you need in just the game of Survivor in general. So I'm really high on them. Of course, because they're coming into this season with barely knowing the rest of the cast. They come at a disadvantage. So that's something to worry about. But in terms of contestants from Survivor Durant's history who are returning as all-stars, I definitely am really high on Mason. He competed on the 2018 season of Survivor BC My Series, and he was a robbed king. He could have gone well. He could have gone far, possibly into the finale episode, the final tribal council, but
I would have carried him there.
oh yeah,
I
yeah,
would
he
have
would have
carried
carried
him.
him there.
Yeah.
Is that like a good thing? Like carry? Yeah. Anyways, Mason, I feel like is going to excel this season because I know that he has been tasting for like salivating for the victory of winning like a full-fledged 3-day 4-day game of Survivor after he got voted out second in my 2018 season of Survivor, and so I can tell that he has the fire in his eyes to succeed and to do well. On top of that, I'm also, you know what, I'm really high on Abby as well. Abby, she just has that, I don't know, that I think that the personality needed to do well on Survivor, and I think she's the dark horse for this series.
She's very ambitious.
Yeah.
She has a great love for Survivor, for sure.
Mm.
I'm not entirely certain if her pride of what she thinks is the right decision, the right call, the right play will get in the way of things and make people feel like she isn't listening to others. Everyone has something to work on. Mason needs to go out there and chill out.
That's true.
I need to see a new side from Mason. For me, I'll talk about my winner picks in just a moment, but I certainly agree with what you're saying, and everyone out there is going to have something that they excel at and in. And I do have to say, for Kirk and TSL, I'm extremely impressed of how much they've picked up and studied and locked in the relationships, the twists.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of material to cover, and for them to already like know so much and they're catching on very well, they're going to fit in just fine. So with all that being said, who is your first winner pick? Who do you think is going to take home everything? Your first winner pick.
I'm going to go with my boy Mason.
Okay.
I already talked about him.
Great pick for sure. Now, for me, my first winner pick, I'm going to have to go with a non-winner. Someone I think that could go underneath the radar. Someone I think is going to get along with more than a majority of the people, like 80% of the people. No one's going to be targeting for them immediately, and that is Briar. Briar, I believe, has studied Survivor long enough, has been around me long enough, I've rubbed off on him, and he knows what he's doing now.
Yeah.
He's been out of this thing since season 3, but he's helped me make 4, 5, and 6, so he knows a lot of people, and I don't think people will see him coming, that he is going to be as strategic as he will be. And with that, who is your second pick?
Oh man, my second pick. Well, to someone who I don't know,
Okay.
but was from the most recent season, but you telling me about her and just
Oh,
what she did.
the queen.
The queen, Shelby. She'll be my second winner pick. She dominated the season 8, but was cut at 3rd place by her husband, and I think that's utterly amazing, but also super tragic. I have high hopes for Shelby. I just love women playing Survivor. I think women when they're playing Survivor, they come at a disadvantage. So when they excel, it's just it's inspiring, and I find Shelby as an inspirational Survivor player for me.
We have a lot of very good women players
yes.
here at Survivor Durant, and it's unfortunate that we do only have one woman that's ever won. So I guess there's something to be said. We have really good women, but we have equally good men too.
That's right.
And Shelby, for sure. It's going to be so interesting to see what happens, because you have Edgar. He's a threat because he just voted out his own wife.
That's right.
So you got to watch out for Edgar. He'll cross anybody. But you also have to watch out for Shelby, because everyone knows that was her game.
That's right.
And I have a side bet going on about Shelby, so unfortunately I have to root against her for this game. So I love Shelby and I would ordinarily root for her, but like I said, I have a side bet. For my second pick, I'm going to go with Gabe. Gabe is someone who's extremely likable and someone who I think is going to lead the charge against an anti-winner alliance. And I believe he is one of the most savvy non-winners, and he should be a winner.
Right.
He definitely could have won the first time that he played. He's extremely likable, and in a game where all bets are off, and you're going to need people that you just lean to, feel good with, and trust. Gabe gives that JT vibe. People are going to lean into that.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I do think that there's a chance that if the winners do team up, they might go for Gabe first because he's probably the biggest threat of an anti-winner alliance.
That's right.
But again, I think that Gabe has everything that it takes to win, and he is my second pick.
All right.
And who is your last pick?
My last pick, I'm going to go with Taylor St. Louis
Ooh.
as my last pick as the winner.
Over Kirk Carlson.
Yeah, over Kirk Carlson. I think, Kirk Carlson, he was featured a lot in my season of Survivor BC that you were on and that Mason was on back in 2018. And I feel like, a lot of the contestants, they might know Kirk Carlson, might be threatened by him. In terms of Taylor St. Louis, she was also on that season, but she was voted out first, and she had a really sympathetic edit. I think just from just from the get-go, between Taylor and Kirk, I would give it to Taylor to do better than Kirk. But also on top of that, Taylor is so smart. She knows how to play the game. She's savvy. She knows how to read the room, like I said. And on top of all of that, she knows how to relate to every single person, regardless of who they are. And I think Taylor will be able to take that and bring it to the end and win. I think there's also that. What makes me worried though is that she tends to be more emotional, but I also feel like she can use that emotion and use it to her advantage, to maybe possibly control or manipulate other players into, being sympathetic towards her, to not have them vote her out. But yeah, I think Taylor's a good choice for me.
I haven't got to speak a whole lot to Taylor. We barely played together in season 5.
Yeah.
But I know she's a dang good player. I know that she knows what she's doing because she's played so much. She's got to harness her craft. She knows what she excels at, and she capitalizes on it.
That's right.
But I didn't know how quick of a learner she was. She studied multiple seasons of Survivor Durant on the fly over here.
That's right.
And I threw out that whole Xander troll, and she immediately caught on and said, "This is a troll." So the fact that she knows what trolling is, the fact that she is already on to these past twists, just goes to show what kind of player she is.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And for my final pick, I'm going to have to go with someone who I consider to be the best non-winner. I think this person I've always seen as a winner. And after listening to him speak, if he plays the way that he told me he was going to play, I think he is finally going to get the crown, and that is Ronnie. Ronnie can go one of two ways in this game. He can do what he always does and follow the boys and try to ride that out and lose against one of his friends at the end, or he can make a move and get rid of them and go a whole different route and show everyone else that he's willing to play ball with the non-winners, and he can get to the end and then he'll win this whole thing. Ronnie is someone that he checks all the boxes on what makes a winner, and he's overdue for a win.
That's right. No, I agree. I totally agree with what you said about Ronnie.
Final thoughts on the prediction of the game.
Ooh. No, I'm just looking forward to seeing, bloodshed. I'm looking forward to seeing them, just battle the elements, battle each other, like the game of Survivor is. I remember you telling me that the weather forecast was rain, and every single player on this season said, "Bring it on!" And that's exactly what I as a viewer and everyone else as a viewer watching wants to see. Just that mentality, that drive, bring it on. And I can't wait to see how the season plays out.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I think that we got it right. And
Amen.
The best will be there. The ones that are supposed to be there will be there. And this will be the greatest thing that we can possibly offer from Survivor Durant. This will be our greatest showdown. And I can't wait to see what the result is.
All right.
Now, I believe you have some questions for me, right?
I do, yeah.
I would love to hear those.
Yeah,
This sort of
course.
retirement interview, huh?
Cheston, my brother. Well, how does it feel, doing 9 seasons? You're after this season, Battle of the Best, gonna be 9 seasons of Survivor Durant. They're all coming down to this epic grand finale. Just describe the emotions that you're feeling right now. leading up to the season, and also what you're looking forward to when the season is done?
I feel like right now I want to throw up. It's like getting on a roller coaster and you're really excited for it. You wanted to do it, but it's just the anticipation of it. I have a lot of anxiety. I'm bittersweet, the fact that this is all coming to an end, but grateful because I need the peace of mind. I've thought about this day every day for like the last year in some aspect, in some regard, working on something, constantly thinking and obsessing, how can I make this better? Is this too much? What if this happens? What if that happens? And I think that my mental state's kind of shot, and I'm excited to have a quiet brain. So that's where I'm at right now.
All right. Well, you talked a little bit about like in the past year, you've always thought about this season in some capacity. Can you just take us all through the process of preparing for the season? Regarding the cast that you chose and the theme and the twists.
So for this game, it took an incredible amount of foresight and planning on the direction that I wanted to go.
Yeah.
So Survivor Durant originally started as a fundraiser for mission trips.
Right.
I went to New Orleans and fell in love with missions and homeless outreach, and I wanted to support that. And so I did this fundraiser event in order to raise money for outgoing mission trips. And eventually, I got out of college and was no longer a part of the fundraising process that was within the college, but my passion for Survivor was still there, and it became a passion project. And with this game, it's coming full circle, and ultimately, the people in this game I met because of my faith, because of my original passion to start a fundraiser. And it's all coming full circle. The place that we're playing is where I got saved when I was 18 years old, which
Amen.
made me go to college, which made me go to the BCM, which made me meet a lot of these players like Jacus and Breyer, even Mason and Nate and Cole.
Yeah.
And the list goes on and on. And I believe that without me getting saved, without God coming in and interfering in my life in a way that I couldn't ignore, none of this would have happened. None of this would be possible. And I'm thankful that I'm in a place in life where I can bless somebody with this exuberant amount of money and create the record for largest LRG prize ever.
Yeah. Cheston, can you just talk to us about how Survivor Durant has meant to you as a whole?
We have a complicated relationship. There would be so many times whenever I'm giving it my all, because I don't go halfway into something, whether it's a relationship or music that I'm writing or my job, whatever it is. If I'm passionate about it, I'm going to go all in with it. And this was definitely no different. And I felt like on the forefront, Survivor was something that I could showcase my creativity and originality, which is something that I take the most pride in. And show how different that I can do this game. And putting so much work into something and planning on how the event's going to go, and then so many times the day of the game people cancel, people drop out. It's been disheartening at times, and it's like, man, I don't want to go through this anymore. But then you go through the event and you see people have a great time. You see people who are uncertain about it, or they didn't know what they was getting themselves into, but at the end of it, they were always like, man, that was fun, that was different, that's something I'll always remember. And they always have a great time. Or even the people that say, this was so social, this isn't for me, but I liked it, I like the challenge aspect. Everyone likes something about it. And that was what was rewarding for me, and had me keep going back. And there were a few times where I thought about quitting, and I said, if people are still interested in it, I'll keep doing it. And that's what got us here to now.
I'm so thankful that you invited me as well, just to be a part of this and to help you out. I want to have this season for you as like the best season, just the grand finale, as I said before. And so I can't wait to see how this season impacts your life and launches you into the next level of where God wants to take you.
I appreciate that. I wouldn't want to have anyone else here, especially someone to have all this information. I would need someone that I really trust to be my right hand guy, to just give everything to. And it was an easy decision. And I was so nervous at first whenever I threw the idea at you that you would say no, that you didn't want anything to do with Survivor. So for you just to be here and be a huge mental support for me and be in my corner, it's beyond words. It means more than you know, just being here. So thank you so much for taking time out of your life to do a little bit more Survivor.
Of course, of course. Anything for you, brother.
So let's start with the earlier seasons and talk about some of the contestants that we are going to have here at Battle of the Best. First, the winner of Season 1, Cole. This guy has not played since Season 1, and he hasn't been around Survivor Durant since Season 3. He helped me make Season 2 and 3, and Cole is pretty well known with the older crowd of players, and they know that while on the surface he seems as a nice, honest, loyal guy, he definitely can be a kingpin of sorts. Cole also is one leg down from the last time that he played, and so I think that people will notice that and maybe utilize that. Maybe they'll want to take Cole far and deep into the game because he won't be fantastic at challenges. What is your thoughts?
No, I totally agree with everything that you said. And yeah, I think in terms of him succeeding, I think I see him as, possibly making the jury.
Then if we got to talk about older players, we have to talk about one of the OGs, and that's Dylan. Dylan has played more times than anyone else. This will be Dylan's 5th time to play. He played seasons 1, 2, 3, 5, and now 9. Dylan has been around, and he almost won Season 1, then he almost won Season 2, with the same strategy of being this mafioso, just calling shots, finding the 2 goats that will listen to him and not question anything, and if anyone gets in his way, he just guns them down. And in the 3rd game, he found out very quickly that that sort of mentality is going to get you out quickly. He changed it up for the most part when he played latest in Season 5. But whenever he started his shenanigans again at Merge, this he said, she said, trying to point the blame, people connected the dots, compared notes, and found out that he was the culprit. And I think if Dylan goes out there and plays more of a low-key, humble game and doesn't try to be the shot caller, he'll do better.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. When I watch Survivor, I love watching the players who are like mafiosos, like Dylan. Nate and Dylan, they don't see eye to eye, so I think that could be a very just interesting rivalry to see happen. And so I think exactly what you said. If Dylan sort of tones down, kind of like what Tony did. Tony from the real Survivor, he's a mafioso. But when he played in season 40 and toned down his threat level,
exactly,
stopped, being loud, stopped being abrasive, stopped trying to, cause division, he was able to sneak through to the very end, and he won. He won the 40th season of Survivor. And so I see Dylan, who you've described as a mafioso Survivor player. If he takes that, if he draws that from Tony's game, then I think he can definitely make it to the end, make it as a winner.
I agree. I love that analogy, and that's exactly what he needs to do. We'll just see if he does it.
Right.
And then we talk about Jacobs, the winner of season 3. This man is insanely great at strategy. He recognizes when people are against him. He just has this instinct about it. He played the ultimate social game in his season against a person who won every single challenge, the ultimate physical game, and he still won by a vote. So if that tells you the type of player that he is, there you go. For some reason, people don't necessarily trust him. I know that Mason is purposefully going around saying that he's deceitful just to make the target a little bit smaller on Mason. And so Mason's making Jacobs look like this Thanos character. of Survivor Durant, that he's the ultimate villain. So that way they'll focus on Jacobs. That's not dumb of Mason.
Oh yeah.
But Jacobs, in his original game, all people have to do is go back and watch the archives. They'll see that Jacobs was loyal, that he noticed Ryan kept winning immunity after immunity after immunity, and he was forced to go against his alliance. He couldn't be loyal because she kept winning immunity. And Jacobs just thought 4 moves ahead in like the final 6, made a deal with Ryan, and said, let's go to the final 2 together. He made that deal just in case she kept winning, and guess what? She did. And because he was the only one that made a deal with her, she honored the deal.
Yeah.
So, good on him for thinking ahead.
I love how Mason is going around lifting up Jacobs as an intimidating threat like Thanos, because even though I've never met Jacobs, when you showed me the photo of him, he looks nice. He looks like someone I would want to be friends with. And so even though it does seem like Mason is, kind of throwing Jacobs' possibility of succeeding in this season, through the briar, I think Jacobs is gonna overcome this. I think he's gonna overcome whatever possible what's the word, threat, that pregame threat that people might have.
I agree with that, because Jacobs is already pretty aware. Like getting like after the contract signing and getting his thoughts going into the game, I said, "What do you want to do in this game?" He said, "I want to get really close with the winners and create like an all winners alliance with Mason and Nate and these people that see him as a threat." And then he said, "When I'm in real good, then I'm going to start icing those dudes."
All right.
So, I mean, Jacobs said that this time he is going to play ruthlessly. He is going to play dirty. And basically he said, if you think I'm a dirty player, I'm going to show you a dirty player. And then we talk about Ryan. This woman is amazing. Winning every single immunity challenge in Season 3.
That's amazing.
Getting to come back and play in Season 6, Assassin's Creed. She made it to the final 7 of that game, made it to the merge, the jury portion. She has proven time and time again that she knows how to survive, just sneak her way through. And I am so excited to see what she does this time. I know that there's cliques that she will always cling to. She will always go to Nate. She will always go to Ronnie. But if she could sort of let go of that a little bit and make other alliances and be more of a free agent, there's no telling what she could do. I feel like in a way she's limiting herself by saying, I have to work with these people.
Right. Now that's a good point. As a male, I always find inspiration in women who succeed in challenges, in physical challenges, and Ryan going through her season essentially winning so many challenges, winning every challenge. I think that's something that, just as a viewer, I can't wait to see her succeed again and watch her do well in the challenge portion of this game. But Survivor is not just challenges; it's also the social and the strategic.
Exactly, and that's what I wanted to say too. I have to give credit where credit's due. We talk a lot about how Ryan succeeded physically in Season 3, but that's not all she is.
Right.
She definitely understands the game very well. She watches Survivor. She's a Survivor fan. She's one of like 5 people that's playing this game that actually watches the show and is a fan.
Oh, okay.
So she knows what's going on. She's very privy to that. She understands the basic strategies of Survivor. She's definitely thinking on a higher strategic level than most players because she's so familiar with Survivor and the ins and outs of it. So she's a shot caller. She's a playmaker. She would understand how to do complicated things like split votes or do a say that word for me. Where it's like 1, 1, 1, 2. Yeah, plurality vote.
Plurality, yeah.
I'm dyslexic, so help a brother out.
Right.
Yeah, she definitely understands things like that, and only a few people would understand that logic. Mason, Nate, maybe Jacobs, Ryan, and Ronnie, I feel like are the only ones that could truly understand the ins and outs like that.
Yeah.
And she's very capable of it. And it's a shame that she won every single challenge, so that's all that we really talk about is her physical dominance, because it overclouds, and maybe it's a good thing, because then, maybe people will underestimate her and they won't know how smart she really, really is.
That's true.
And then we go to season 4, and we've talked about Mason a little bit and what he needs to do, and how he just needs to calm down and go out there and be chill,
Right.
and get along with everyone. Obviously, Mason knows that he can't be picky this game. He's gonna have to take the allies that he can get when he can get them.
Yeah, no, that's right. Mason was my number one winner pick because I'm always loyal to my brothers, and Mason is a brother of mine, a brother in Christ, brother in Survivor BC. But you're right. He needs to chill. But I also see so much potential in him to do well, to succeed and win this season because he's so experienced. Not only has he competed on Survivor BC, not only has he won, season 4 of Survivor Durant, but he's also competing in LRGs, ORGs, which are online
Right.
reality games, and even though they're a little bit different, there's also that they're just that additional experience that's super helpful
Yep.
in a game like this. And so I stand by my winner pick as Mason.
Like, I believe in Mason wholeheartedly.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's so hard to like root against him because he's like my best friend, and I don't want to be bigoted or biased. I don't want to be
Yeah.
a biased host, and just because I have to root for everyone equally.
That's right. Yeah.
And sometimes, to be fair, I feel like I might be too hard on Mason to just show that I'm being fair, and so then that's kind of unfair. But everyone knows that Mason's my right-hand guy, that he's the successor. Everyone has seen Mason host season 5, season 6 part 2. They know Mason as the number one helper, the ally.
Right.
There have been times where I let him conduct multiple tribal councils for him to get used to conducting them and things like that. So they've seen him in that leadership host role. They know that he is super knowledgeable about the ins and outs of the game, and that's not doing him any favors.
That's true. It's a good point.
Let's talk about Abby for a little bit. She
Okay.
just got casted for BC 9, so that's really cool.
That's amazing.
So they've seen something in her that she has some sort of potential to do well, to do far. I feel like she's learned from her mistakes. I also believe that her getting to co-create and be on production for season 8 of Survivor Durant, Rising Sun and Shadows, she got to see a different point of view.
Right.
And she learned a lot from it.
Oh yeah.
Just hearing her speak, the jargon that she uses after the fact really shows growth from her for me. And I was kind of concerned about her, and she wasn't initially a part of the cast for this game. She was an alternate. She's filling in for Autumn. But after hearing what she took away from being a part of production of season 8, I think that she learned a lot, and I'm really excited to see what she does this time.
Yeah, for a future advice for any Survivor LRG player, helping out and volunteering in another LRG, in another Survivor game is so helpful in helping you yourself increase in your knowledge and in your potential in winning a Survivor game. And Abby helping out with season 8 is definitely gonna help her in this season as she competes.
For sure. And I know that Abby will also be leading the charge against the anti-Nate Mason Alliance
I
and Winners
love it. I love it.
Alliance.
She's my dark horse.
For sure. Like Mason, Nate, probably Ronnie, Peyton, and even possibly Ryan will all be working together in this giant powerhouse alliance of winners. And Abby is very much aware of that and has stated to me multiple times she is the spokesperson of this anti-Mason Nate alliance. And she's willing to do whatever it takes to win, but also to make sure that they are one of the first voted out, which isn't incredibly dumb of her. I mean, yeah, you want to work with anyone that you can, but you need to get those people out immediately. They're the best for a reason from
That's right.
Survivor Durant.
Exactly.
Then we talk about Nate. You talk about King. We talk about the best. We talk about Nate, my number 1 overall rated player here at Survivor Durant.
Yeah. I just you telling me about it. I've never met Nate, but you just telling me about him, he definitely is like the best player of the series. his moves, his the way he plays the game, his strategy, and that's also why coming into this season I'm nervous about him and seeing him doing well, because if he has this high reputation in a cast where 14 players are all Survivor Durant alumni, then I feel Nate does have an uphill battle in this season to succeed. My prediction for him would be pre-jury though, but maybe he'll surprise me.
Yeah, I feel like if anyone can get out of a pickle, it will be him. He's really good about convincing people and convincing them to do things that they wouldn't necessarily want to do.
Right.
He can go full on Sandra mode and just be like anyone but me.
I like it.
Nate's definitely a politician, and he's great with his words. He has a gifted tongue, and he knows exactly what to say, when to say it, who to say it to get things done. I'm going to take a quote from Cole, the newest host of Survivor BC.
That's right.
I remember he said, and he might have stole this quote from somewhere else, but I heard it first from him. He said, "There always exists a combination of words to make anything happen."
Wow.
And I feel like Nate embodies that quote.
Yeah.
And he'll talk to he's blue in the face and work with whoever, whenever, for him just to stay another round. And the longer that he's in the game, the longer time he'll have to put his roots into the game, and that's going to be so dangerous. Now let's talk about Gabe a little bit.
Okay.
Gabe is the JT of our season. He is this good old easygoing guy that understands the game so quickly. Gabe is a very fast learner, and he is a strategic threat as well as a social threat and a physical threat for that matter. He won like 2 or 3 immunities this season. Gabe, though, is loyal to a fault. I think that he doesn't necessarily gauge when he needs to cut a relationship off, and he doesn't question, is my number one ally my biggest threat to win? And so Gabe, I think, also learned from that mistake, and it's going to be interesting to see how he plays this game.
Yeah. I really like Gabe. Gabe is someone who I would love to be friends with. I feel like he kind of personifies American South, if that's all right for me to say.
Sure.
Yeah, and like he's definitely someone that you've talked about him already, and I can't wait to see how he does. I'm not as high on him as you are, but I think I'm open to him surprising me and seeing him do well.
And then we have Briar. Briar is someone that everyone just likes and gets along with. No one really has a bad thing to say about Briar. Sure, he has a complicated past and history with Dylan, but who doesn't these days? And when it comes down to it, they're probably going to need each other. Briar, even though he's great friends with the winners and the non-winners, both sides are going to want to use him. He'll get to decide which path he would like to take. He's not the type of person that's going to say, I'm not going to vote this person out because we're so close friends. He will do whatever, whenever. He has studied this game. He now has become a fan of this game, and his knowledge of the game has grown 100-fold since the last time he's played. So I'm really, really excited to see what he does with this newfound knowledge.
Yeah.
And how he's going to play in this game.
Yeah, definitely. And he's like one of your best friends, right?
For sure.
Yeah, and I think just seeing someone who you're really close friends with competing in a Survivor game, there's that inner you want to root for them. And I definitely see potential in Briar. I'm not as high on him as you are. I kind of see maybe a pre-jury finish, but I could be wrong. I what do I know, right? So
if Briar does get booted pre-jury, I'll be shocked.
Okay.
Because so far he hasn't been one of those forefront dominant strategic players. He's not like a strategist, but I think that's what he has become.
Oh, okay.
And I think a lot of things have changed between then and now. But like you said, we'll see. And then we come to Ronnie, someone who is overdue for a win.
That's right.
Someone that understands the game magnificently. He's Nate Jr. He knows what he's doing, and this go around, I believe he's going to do what it takes to win, to take the whole thing home, to sweep.
Yep. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Of all the non-winners, Of all the male non-winners, I'm highest on Ronnie, for sure.
Ronnie has this hunger and this drive, I think, unlike anyone else, really.
Yeah.
He's hungriest for it. Like, there's a lot of people that want this, but I think he wants it the most. And so much so, he's willing to change everything
That's true.
in
Yeah,
this last game.
that's true. Yeah, him not winning, and then this being the last season, I definitely see that the drive, the fire in his eyes to win.
And then we come to Peyton, who is the winner of Season 6, Part 2. He has my Gold Star award for Most Improved Player, going from this lackey, yes boy, I'll do whatever you say, to I'm making my own moves now, I'm calling my own shots. Peyton definitely understands the game now. He's also really good friends with Mason, and Mason's definitely rubbed off on him. And Peyton has also become a fan of Survivor, so he knows what he's doing now. And I feel like Peyton gives off this sort of aloof persona where he seems like this dumb bro surfer vibe,
Oh, okay.
but he's not now anyway.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
knows what he's doing now, and he's aware of that. He's aware that people think he's stupid by the way he speaks,
Yeah.
and he capitalizes on that and makes people underestimate him.
All right.
He's very much aware. And I think he has the potential to be the winner that goes the furthest in this game.
I would agree with that. Well, besides my bro Mason, I would agree with that and see, in terms of seeing Peyton win again. There hasn't been a two-time winner for Survivor Durant. I definitely see Peyton as definitely someone who would win this season, be a two-time winner, and yeah, like just looking at the photo that you gave me of him, he's definitely someone who, from first glance you kind of have your guards are down, but then he's smart, and the fact that he has already won and is definitely someone who can take this game by storm.
And then we come to Cameron, someone that we haven't really talked very much about. He is a definite dark horse, and if he goes into this game and as is open-minded and if he's as open-minded as he was before, I think he could go far again. Cameron is someone that is severely underestimated. He's easy to sort of forget about. You're like, oh yeah, Cameron's still in the game. Cameron's a brilliant strategist, and I think if he just stays quiet, stays in the middle of the pack, underneath the radar, he might slide to the end.
Oh yeah.
Nate just hit me up the other day, and he was like, I rewatched the archive video of Season 6, Part 2, and Cameron dominated that game, and no one else has really caught on to that, and that's why I cast Cameron initially, and I'm really surprised that Nate, that's why he's my number one. That's why he's rated the best, because Nate did finally catch on to that.
Yeah. Wow.
And I don't think no one else really has, and people might underestimate Cameron, and that was his first time doing anything Survivor. And I always say you play your worst the first time because it's all new to you. And so I'm really excited to see what Cameron does this time around and improve upon his mistakes, capitalize upon them, and who knows?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I totally agree. I totally agree with everything you're saying.
Let's talk about your girl Shelby.
Yes. I'm just so excited to see Shelby play again, and hopefully she'll be able to, at the very least, I'd like to see her, get her revenge on her husband and vote Edgar out. But also, it's always, like I've said before, it's always just great seeing women succeed and like dominate the game of Survivor, and so I'm so I have high hopes for Shelby to succeed.
I agree completely. I am really anxious to see like who does better between her and her husband, because there's reasons to get rid of them both. Obviously,
Right.
you're going to want to split up the pair as soon as you can, but
That's a good point.
but who do you get rid of first? There's arguments on both sides.
Right.
Who would you get rid of first?
I would get rid of Shelby first.
You would,
Yeah, I would. But
and keep
terms of-
around the guy that's willing to backstab anybody.
Yeah, well, because he's more of a a threat in terms of like.
Let's talk about Edgar for a
nuances.
second. Like
Okay.
Edgar's game, like he came off as the most loyal person you've ever seen. Super kumbaya. Like
Yeah.
let's talk about good things. He purposely said and did things to make everyone feel good. Like
Yeah.
he wants everyone to feel warm and fuzzy inside. But at the end of the day, we just seen he's not afraid to write anyone's name down.
That's right.
That I feel like is more dangerous, but also it's so hard because someone who totally understands the game, and then again, we can't say that Edgar doesn't totally understand the game. He won,
Right. That's right.
so it's so hard between the two of who you get rid of first.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's a little bit understandable that, he voted out his wife at the final three, right before the final tribal council. I think anyone would understand that because we played the game of Survivor to win. If he voted out his wife at like final six or final seven, like what Sierra did with her mom, I'd be more I'd be more like threatened by Edgar. But I see, I see Edgar as someone who could be a dark horse in terms of winning a winner going on to succeed, someone that we may not expect. So, yeah, no, I'm also high on Edgar in terms of if I were to play the game with Edgar or Shelby, I would target Shelby because she's more of a threat to me winning. In terms of me as a viewer, I'd love to see Shelby take the prize.
Now, also keep in mind that all of the players are aware of a very special statistic. I've done my research. I've
Okay.
watched everything that I can get my hands on.
Yeah.
Survivor Australia, Survivor South Africa,
Wow.
all the different college survivors, Michigan, Maryland, UVA, all the different real-time LRGs like BC, Reelfoot, Coco Pele, you
Right.
name it.
Yeah.
And there's so many examples that we can look at across all these different seasons. Was it like 300 plus? There's not a season out there in which a winner of that original season gets to the end again and loses.
Oh,
There is not an example.
wow.
So
That's
in other
good.
words, if one of the 6 original winners of Survivor Durant, this isn't like talking about Kirk coming in. He's a winner of different games, but there are examples of a winner coming in like Kirk getting to the end and losing.
Yeah.
But there's not an example of a Survivor Durant winner getting to the end and losing.
That's true.
And everyone's aware of that statistic.
Wow. Okay. Actually, that emboldens the Winners Alliance, and that emboldens
does.
the Anti-Winners Alliance as well.
Yes.
That could is definitely forming before the game starts.
It does. It puts everyone on notice.
Yes.
And I want everyone to be aware of all these statistics and possibilities and to make it as fair as possible. And lastly, let's talk about your predictions for Kirk Carlson.
Okay. Yeah. No. I'm so high on Kirk. He's the legend. He's a king. That's his title. That's what people call him in the LRG community. And so I'm so high on Kirk, and I know that he's your mentor. And watching him compete in my series, he has that. He knows what to do. Like he's
a
very
natural.
creative. He's natural. Exactly.
Yeah.
Survivor is as natural as breathing is natural to us for Kirk.
Yep.
And so I'm really high on Kirk. There is that worry in me, knowing that all these people I've seen Kirk do well on Survivor BC Season 5, and there's that, it's an easy vote. Kirk's just an easy vote. We don't know him. He's not from here, and we've seen him succeed, and so there's that worry for him.
It goes back to that old adage.
Yeah.
The devil you know versus the devil you don't.
That's right.
So are people going to vote out someone that they know is crazy good, like Nate or Mason? Or are they going to take a chance and let them stay in the game and get rid of someone they don't know, like Kirk?
That's right.
So for a lot of people, this could be a saving grace. They could be like, oh my gosh, this brand new face, I need him to get rid of Mason or Nate.
That's right.
So everyone's going to think differently about it, and I can confidently say I don't have a clue what's going to happen. I could see Kirk going first. I could see Kirk getting to the end.
That's right.
I have no clue.
On Australian Survivor Blood vs. Water, the most recent season, they brought in Sandra into the game.
With her daughter.
With her daughter, that's right. And a lot of the players, they kept around Sandra as just a shield for them so that they wouldn't be voted out. And while it didn't work out for Sandra, spoiler alert. But I'm hoping for Kirk that he'll be able to utilize kind of what Sandra tried to do with him just being a shield, an unknown shield. But then he's more savvy. He's a better physical competitor. He's useful.
Now, let's talk about TSL and tell me why you believe TSL is going to be doing better than Kirk in this game.
I think it mostly just comes down to her reputation that she has in terms of the Survivor Durant audience. The players competing in season 8 of Survivor Durant, they would have seen season 5 of Survivor BC, which you were on, which Kirk was on, which Taylor was on. Kirk did exceedingly well, and his gameplay was really showcased. Taylor's wasn't. If they had seen, other games that Taylor had competed on, like Real Foot or like, I don't know, other games, then they would see how amazing Taylor is. Now, coming in to the season, they don't know Taylor as well. They don't know how she plays, how well she is. They only know from the first episode of season 5 where she's voted out, and she has a really sympathetic edit. And so that's why I think Taylor will be able to take that and use that. She's so smart. She'll be able to take that and launch herself forward and propel herself in this game. And Kirk has more of an uphill battle, which, don't get me wrong, I think he has the capability to succeed and overcome that obstacle. But Taylor has a little bit easier on her end, I think.
I agree with that, but I also believe that the players will ask themselves, why did Cheston pick this girl?
Right, that's true.
They brought in Kirk, one of the best. Why did he bring in her if she is just a first boot? And I think that they might hold Kirk and Taylor in the same light.
Right.
Especially when I'm going to be saying these are two of the best LRG players there are around. They're two of the most experienced. This is one of the best males. This is one of the best females. So I believe that they might be looking at them one and the same.
That's true. That's a good point.
And I feel the same way about TSL as I do Kirk. She could go first or she could go to the end. But I also agree with you. I think she has a better chance statistically of going further than he does. Well, let's get in some pros. What do you say? Let's get their thoughts on some stuff. Let's bring in TSL.